Perhaps not the best of time in the nation as tough choices are now before President Bola Tinubu. Which way for Nigeria with Tinubu in the saddle? We analyze some of these issues in the front banner. And we also delve into the internal affairs of the PDP. The party says is beginning a reconciliation process. We'll be looking at that tonight. Hello everyone, welcome to the program. This is Politics Today live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Okimaloye in Abuja. We're bringing to you tonight some of your biggest national discourse, and we're dissecting some of these issues for you as a citizen to take the right decision and action, especially when it comes to the policy of government and the politics of our nation. Let's get started, everyone, shall we, tonight? We are going to be breaking down for you some of the tough decisions before President Bola Tinubu, since he got in the saddle over 60 days, over 70 days that he's been at the helm of affairs. How has he fared? Now he's planning to form a cabinet. 45 people are ready. 3 are pending determination of the confirmation of the Senate. But in all of this, what are the expectations of Nigerians? We'll be dissecting these for you tonight. I will be looking at the role of the opposition in the face of all of what is happening in our nation. We'll be hearing tonight from very eminent Nigerians. Stick around with me tonight because we will get it started right about now. But first, let's check out your political roundup stories.
The suspended Central Bank of Nigeria Governor Godwin Emefiele has asked the Federal High Court sitting in Lagos to stop the federal government from further prosecuting him on the charge of illegal possession of firearms and ammunition, or on any other charge for that matter. He's also seeking an order of the court discharging him of all offences prosecuted by the government, who is in brazen disobedience of the subsisting orders of the court granting him bail on July the 25th, 2023, and a further order prohibiting the federal government from continuing to enjoy any form of indulgence from the courts except and unless it complies with the bail ruling. The suspended CBN Governor Emefiele, through his lawyers, Mr. Joseph Daudu, SAN, filed an application to this effect before vacation judge Justice Nicholas Owebo, who had admitted him to bail after his arraignment. Emefiele asked Justice Owebo to stay further proceedings on the recent charge until he exhausts all the remedies available to him in law to compel the government and the DSS to obey the order of the court admitting him to bail or remanding him in the custody of the Nigerian Correctional Center until he perfects his bail terms. The Court of Appeal Abuja has reserved judgment in 2 appeals brought before it by the governorship aspirants of the All Progressive Congress in Kogi State, Mr. Abubakar Achimugu, and Smart Adeyemi, against the judgment of a Federal High Court Abuja, which affirmed Usman Ododo as the APC flag bearer for the November 11 governorship election in the state. The appeal was against the judgment of Justice Obiora Egwatu and Justice James Omotosho, both of the Federal High Court Abuja. In their separate judgments, they had held that Ahmed Ododo can lawfully continue to fly the flag of the APC in the November 11, 2023 governorship election in Kogi State. Mr. Achimugu had approached the Federal High Court with a suit seeking to disqualify Ododo from contesting the November 11 governorship election on grounds that he did not resign his employment with the Kogi State Public Service 30 days before contesting the governorship primary election. In Ogun State, the governorship election petition tribunal has adjourned its sitting till September the 4th after all parties closed their cases in the petition filed by the governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party and its candidate in the March 18 governorship election, Ladi Adebutu. Ladi Adebutu had approached the 3-man tribunal led by Justice Hamidu Kunaza, alleging that the governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Dakwa Abiodun, did not win the majority of votes cast during the March 18 governorship election. The People's Democratic Party and its candidate, Ladi Adebutu, in the petition marked, accused the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, of non-compliance with the Electoral Act and corrupt practices during the elections. The petition has also alleged that elections were disrupted by thugs in over 99 polling units, disenfranchising over 40,000 voters from participating in the election. The Speaker of the Benue State House of Assembly, Mr. Ondona Dajo, has finally read the list of commissioner nominees sent to the House by Governor Hyacinth Alia on July the 27th, 2023, in what has become a subject of debate whether the governor's list met the statutory 60 days timeline as enshrined in Section 147 of the 1999 Constitution. Reading another letter from the governor on the floor of the House on Tuesday, Mr. Dajo says 3 additional names have been sent by the governor, making it 17 names, setting aside Thursday, August the 10th, for their screening and confirmation. Politicians from the ruling party and the main opposition appear unwilling to cut the governor some slack for releasing the names 71 days after taking oath of office.
A lot of activities happening just about the same time. Resident doctors are threatening strike. Organized labor are threatening strike. Everything seems to be happening. Well, if you are the type who deal in dollars and you have to make some purchases or you have to make some business deals in dollars, you perhaps would know just how much it went for yesterday. I've not checked today what it was. I understand it went about 900 now to $1 yesterday, and a lot of things are happening. But the Bola Tinubu government says they have everything under control, but things might be spiraling. How will Nigerians believe that they have it under control if we are not having some checks on what exactly is going on? They are trying to form a cabinet. Those who believe that, give them a chance. Let them even put together a team to fix all of these issues. And they said they want to generate revenue. They put together a presidential committee on policies and tax reforms. They want to get more money, get Nigerians productive. These are some of the plans of the Tinubu-led government. But how far can that lead us? On one hand is also the fact that the role of the opposition in all of this. Can the ruling party go ahead as just in the democracy, there is a role of the ruling party, there's a role of the opposition, the role of the media, and the civil society. These are the strong legs that make a democracy work. That is what political scientists will tell you. But political party like PDP, who came second in the last election, they are awaiting the outcome of the Presidential Election Tribunal. They say that they're trying to reorganize themselves. They are looking like a party that have been also gotten a bloody nose from the election. This is not the first time. This is going to be the third time. Since 2015, they've gotten really beaten up at the polls. But this time around, they said they want to go about a reconciliation. On the weekend, the leaders of the party also met with Atiku Abubakar, and they are also proposing and looking like they are galvanizing themselves to get together and push Nigeria forward. Let's get talking, everyone. Tonight, I'll be speaking with a chieftain of the PDP who wanted to be governor of Ogun State. And now we're hearing that he has an ambition also, which he will be telling us tonight. Chief Segun Showmi joins us live on the program. Thank you so much, Chief Segun, with me for
Sure, it was nice to see you. How are you?
I'm good. And also on the program, we will also be joined by Senator Ireti Kingibe, who is live for us, a senator representing the FCT in the Senate, who, as a member of the Labour Party. Senator, thank you so much indeed for joining us tonight on the program.
Good evening, Show.
It's good to see you. I'll be coming to you just in a moment. Let me speak with Mr. Showmi just for some minutes, and I'll come to you. Mr. Showmi, thank you so much for coming. Let me get into your party affairs. I'm hearing from some of your friends in your party that you want to be the party national chairman. Okay. Now that you're here today, I can ask you straight up, is that true?
Well, let me put it this way. I've been out of the country for a while. I went for an engagement in Washington, and I think that a lot of young people started to make that push. But my position has been very clear. Stability is more important than anything else. When you have the situation that we have on hand now, we must be very measured, we must be very careful, and we must not run into that consistent argument of thinking that our issue is removing the person in charge. We had the same conversation with Alimodi Sheriff. Then we ran into Makerfi. Then we ran into Secondus. Then we ran into Ayu. Now we're with Damagun. We cannot be a political party that keeps saying all the time that nobody is good enough to lead us. So I understand what young people want. They want a reform party. Some of them have heard a lot of my ideas on how I think things should go. So I'll just say, let's go a little easy on that. When the time is right, we'll take a decision on whether we should throw ourselves into it. But if it's coming to the Southwest, then without a doubt, I am eminently qualified to say I have the ideas to run the party, but I've told them we're not there yet. So that's that on
So
that.
your friends are pushing?
Oh, yeah, a lot of people.
The
conversation
party.
has happened a lot. People feel that it's not enough for them to keep doing these musical chairs, looking for themselves and just pretending as if they can reform the party. Like, if we must reform...
You know the interesting thing about the leadership of your party is that the only lucky person that has spent full 4 years, although he didn't complete his full term, is Secondus.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as he was embattled by the wave and all of the trouble, he seems to be the person
that's my point exactly.
The most stable, although very unstable in terms of the kind of wave that came against him.
Sure.
He left in the same month, although a few weeks before the expiration of his term.
As a matter of fact, let me even correct you. They did a congress before the end of his tenure, but they waited until the end of his tenure before they swore them in. So effectively, Secondus completed his tenure.
He probably had beaten all the records. Of,
well, the thing is that political parties in Africa...
The days of Bamanga Tuko,
the days of... that's what I've been trying to... that's what I've been trying to preach against. We cannot be a political party that says nobody is good enough for us. We can have our issues, we can want a lot of energy, we can want reform, but we have to have painstaking ability to wait through the time. Because if we brought all of these men that have been our chairman and put them like on a line, we'll find out that they've been different characters, different persons, different inflections, different possibilities.
But it's not only your name that...
I don't care who else they are mentioning. What I'm saying is that...
No, you probably will care. You know why?
Who are they mentioning?
They've mentioned Senator Bukola Saraki.
Well, I mean, if not Central thinks that it is their inalienable right to be chairman all the time, then those of us in the Southwest can tell them, no, we don't agree. Some of us have put in a lot more than you guys are putting, and we want the party to be chairman in the Southwest. And if young people want me to be, then we'll meet ourselves on the field.
So if you are up against the likes of Senator Bukola Saraki, how would that play?
I'll beat him. I'll ask him what he did in 2014, 2015 when they destabilized the party. I'll ask him what exactly was... I'll beat him. I'm sure of that.
You have the backing of Atiku Abubakar.
I know, So this is where the challenge is. Atiku Abubakar is not that kind of party who likes to destabilize things. Young people are just gyrating. And my name is coming up. And so, I'm very honest with you. I won't pretend as if I've not heard it. But what I have said to them is the same. Gentlemen, we cannot be a political party that gives the impression that people cannot finish their term. We lost an election, fair enough. We're still contesting that. Some guys are in charge of that NWC now. We can give them time.
Where, Senator, are you?
Well, I think that IU scenario is one of those scenarios that gives you a bit of a dagger in the heart.
Do you think that the scenario around him perhaps was one of the major issues that led to the loss of your party at the election?
I tell you this. In a political environment where the focus is victory, everybody needs to always figure out a way to reduce their immediate anger. And once you get into a situation where a political party is not able to see that the collective good or the corporate existence of everybody else, whatever it is that the agenda is bigger than the individual agenda, then you will get the kind of results we got. I'm not even sure that perhaps if it had been any other way, we will not also have another set of people playing the same set of role, because that happened in 2015. In 2019, we were a little bit more cohesive. In 2023, you saw what happened. So basically, the PDP for years now, or even up till now, have been the university that produces everybody. Check Akpabio, former PDP governor, former PDP senator. Check Suzwan, former PDP governor. Check Nasiru, what's his name? Nasiru, former PDP in charge of FCT. Check the guy that's in charge of National Security Advisor, Ribadu. Do you understand what I'm trying to do? What I'm trying to say to you is that it is our burden to bear. We are the incubator of people's experiences in politics. And it is their right sometimes to go elsewhere, and they have done that sometimes.
You don't think the party is still living in the past
of the past? Well, I think, listen, Sheon, once there is a legitimacy challenge for anybody that has won in a democratic setting, you cannot say that. If you have a voting map of 93 million and someone is sitting in the villa with just about 8 million, that already invalidates the legitimacy. And if everybody is in arms, going to the court, screaming and shouting, and you're measuring, you're a media person, you measure the inflections on social media in the political space, you have to understand that it's an unusual time. even with all the things said about President Muhammadu Buhari, at least he came to the villa with about 15 million votes. You're coming in with about 8. You have no bragging rights. Whatever you do, you have no bragging rights. And we'll have to wait to see how the course goes. So for me, I think that, yes, the People's Democratic Party of Nigeria must now evolve into a tribe. So if it can evolve into a tribe, it will no longer be a platform where, Sheon, what can anybody do to stop making you an Ekiti man? It's too late. You may be angry with them, you may not be happy, but you're going to be an Ekiti from now till the end of... Even if you change your nationality, if you get to America and they make you, and they will always say, the Sheon Okinbaloye Nigerian of Ekiti. We need to get the political parties to that level where members who join, I understand that they have joined the political party and they're like kind of like stuck with their tribe. But hey, the Constitution allows people to move. And when they do move, it has consequence.
All right. So you're planning reconciliation. That's what the leadership is doing.
We're speaking reconciliation. That's the word I rather. I'm not saying we're planning reconciliation. We're speaking reconciliation because reconciliation is a constant item on the agenda. You cannot, even if you win an election, you still will be speaking reconciliation. Except, of course, you think that a political party is a closed organization where new people cannot come in, where people that have free nerves cannot be managed. You will have to always be constantly in a state of reconciliation. And I can say for free, those who have just a minimal 8 million votes in the villa as a political party would do well for themselves to do the same. They've not even been as stable as us. In the space of how many years, how many chairmen have they had? They've not even had I mean, come off it, man. You tell your immediate past chairman to resign, and you don't call it Congress, you don't do anything. Some people just sit down in a room and just say that they've gotten new chairman and new secretary. We're not like that. PDP is a political party.
They had a neck meeting.
Forget that. Our processes work. We don't do things like that way. We go through the pain of building the consensus and the capacity of that person to call himself a national chairman through the ranks. Yeah. And we do conventions.
But usually you always disrupt it. That's the history of the party. But let's move away from it to some national...
Yeah, let's do something much more interesting.
Issue. I mean, what are you hearing within your party as in relation to the Tinubu's administration and the handling of the state of affairs?
You know, I'm a Yoruba man, and ironically, I've known Ashaju for years. So there must be some kind of soft spot there. And I have tried very hard to say that let's wait until 100 days. Why? Because there's a tradition and a culture of let them take 100 days to, settle down.
Not our own tradition.
It's not ours. American yeah, I'm just saying.
Culture, yeah.
Even the democracy you are practicing shows American democracy. So please, there's that culture that you give them 100 days to settle down. But unfortunately for this administration, they have done quite a lot of things that could be considered as serious missteps. And they've done them in a brazen, in a hurry manner that people are now forced to say no.
Give an example of that.
I'll tell you. You cannot come to public space on the day you are inaugurated and say you're removing subsidy without thinking of the knock-on effect. Once you've done that, and you now start thinking about what are we going to do, is it palliative, is this, that's not how to really govern. You cannot come and say you are floating the Naira, you're very sure that the Naira and the dollar will come onto, equilibrium, market force and black market. This is, come on, man. You opened up by saying the money is now about 900. That's not how much it is in the banks. So the arbitrage you were trying to run away from, you're still stuck in it. You cannot come into public space and begin to give the impression that your business in government is just to make sure that you can tax the people more, you can burden the people more, you can shift the responsibility of government to figure out who are those people that mismanaged our subsidy regime, who are those people that did whatever it is that you're claiming is the reason why we have this problem. You're basically pampering your friends. Bola Tinubu's government has almost become a government that bullies the weak, but gets bullied by the thugs. I mean, come on, Sheung. Where in the world would you expect them to take a young woman just coming up in life? I've Googled that a bit, very passionate about their party. They had about from February to date to make up their mind who they wanted to appoint. And the girl has to come on, the woman or the lady has to come on to the point where she's supposed to go in, and then she's told her name is not there. And you kind of like forget out, what kind of people are these? You didn't know 24 hours before. You didn't know 48 hours before. And these are the same people who seem to be incapable of saying, oh, this particular guy, we can see all of the challenges he has, and we're dropping him. So we see that there are former governors all passed, there are the former senators all passed, and it is the weak in the society that is carrying the short end of the stick. That's who they are. Again, you can't run an economy like Nigeria pretending as if you don't understand that the mass of our people, the majority of our people, are greatly impacted by poverty as it is, and that anything that makes them incapable of even feeding themselves because inflationary trend is going to spike up is a no-no. And then, guess what you have done to yourself to even make us look stupid? You have opened your mouth to say, I'm going to go into Nigeria and I'm going to do something. You are issuing ultimatums you can't keep. Sunday has come and gone. You have made us look like a laughing stock. Some small boys in Nigeria are going to be sitting down there and be laughing at us. Like, hey. Nigeria said they are coming. We're waiting for them. They did not come. They've shut down the airspace.
This is not Nigeria. This is an ECOWAS stand.
Listen, man.
Who do you think is the leader of ECOWAS?
Listen, Sheon. Do you know what the United States of America is within its sub-region? Do you know what Germany is and France is within Europe? Do you know what Nigeria is within Africa? Do you know what Nigeria is within West Africa? Okay, we can be nice on other, we can respect sovereignty. We can't be going around to fool ourselves. Our responsibility as a government and as a leader in the sub-region is to be very guarded and very, very measured in our utterances, especially when the entire northern border of our country is with our friends.
So you disagree with the position of ECOWAS being led by President Tinubu on the manner of their approach on the coup situation? What would he have suggested otherwise?
I think anybody who understands anything about statecraft will know that you cannot put the cart before the horse. You cannot put strong arm and strong force and strong threat in front before you start shipping your diplomats there. That's not how these things are done. And it is coming from the background of their I know more than everybody concept in Yoruba land and Lagos State, and now they're coming into a bigger space where they have very little experience and they're not taking the pain to gather the right kind of people and the right kind of thought processes around the table to guide them. Nigeria has never been embarrassed in ECOWAS. Right now, we are about to be embarrassed. And if we then decide that, okay, we want to be brave and we want to brave, but don't want to send troops there, we're just going to go ahead and embarrass ourselves even more. And besides that, can illegitimacy be fighting illegitimacy?
What do you mean by that?
You cannot have a legitimate problem in your country where people are saying they don't even accept your election. People are in court. You have not even come out of it. People are saying you got only barely 8 million votes. People are saying you gaslighted races. People are saying the election is not free, fair, and transparent. The perception is not right. And then you're going to another man's country to tell them, oh, we want you to do this, we want you to do that. Are you afraid of...
Do you know the legal test for... election.
That's why we're in court.
Just a moment. That's what I'm saying. Do you know the test is for the judicial process?
Yeah,
we're in that process.
Until we are out of it, you can't wear the medal of legitimacy. Don't you get?
So until that, you don't want the president should just sit in his bedroom and wait until the Supreme Court rules.
No, I've not told him not to form cabinet. I've seen the kind of people he's putting in his cabinet. I laugh at him. A few brilliant faces, but a few excessively recycled characters. If you come in this country and you want to do a paradigm shift, and your paradigm shift includes former governor, come on, man. If your paradigm shift removes the same...
So if you are a former governor, it obliterates your capacity to serve again in your country. Is that the case?
Sheon, come on. There are 200 million people in this country. That particular party, the APC, has been in charge for the past 8 years. Whatever mess they are trying to clean now, their party caused it, their government caused it. You can't come in front of us and start telling us or giving us the impression that the same are now the ones that are going to get us out of this mess.
So you're not impressed with the formation, the kind of team that the president is putting together?
You know, I have looked at the people he's putting together. I'm a little bit uncomfortable with the fact that, if I be honest with you, both of us are Yoruba men, that it's beginning to seem that our people they're going to get the best of the cherries. And if you want me to tell you what, I can tell you the things we've gotten already and the things that are likely to get.
What are those?
Come on, man. We're in charge of customs. We're in charge of police. we're in charge of Army, we're in charge of CBN, we're in charge of IRS, we're in charge of taxation, we're in charge of appropriation. Have we become such a people that we can only be fair when we're talking about other people? I am beginning to see a pattern that we're getting, all of the cream is coming to us. And what we will not accept from Buhari, who was even fairer to us than he was to his people, we must be brave enough to say this is not the right way to go even for us. We're not going to suddenly become a parochial people who insist that all of the things in the country, Yoruba people are the... Listen, Shehu, does it not prick your soul that you are putting 10 in one place, 9 in one place, 7 in one place, 5 in one place, and you're giving the Southeast Igbos 5? And I can tell you for free, Shehu, there is no mental capacity, validation, education, authentication that you are looking for in the world that you will not find with Indi Igbos, either in Nigeria or in the diaspora. Why would you not start telling me that you can get 10 from the Northwest, you can get 9 from the Southwest, and you are telling me that you can only get 5 from them? So these are the issues. And then made worse is you're very, very happy when it comes to telling the people you have to do taxes, you have to take more revenue, you have to push them more, they have to endure more, they have to pay more for petrol, they have to pay more for money. And guess what? It has taken you all of your 60-something days, and you have not been able to come up with a clear palliative that people can understand that works. When you wanted to make it much more irritating, you went to the extent that your Senate president is sitting down at Akpabio, laughing and gesticulating and fifing about, takes the gavel and says, they say the people that are going to be let the poor breathe. Yes, the poor should be, and starts to laugh. Is that a reflection of what our people are feeling now?
How do you summarize the about 70 days or so of President Tinubu in the saddle?
I'll first of all say, some of the people he speaks, Bajabia Miller as his, what's it called, chief of staff, hogs the media too much. That's not the role of a chief of staff. I've seen his former special advisor.
So you're thinking that, just for a moment, you're thinking that the chief of staff need not be seen and heard. Is that what you're saying?
Maybe you should read some of the books of the countries that have created chief of staff. A chief of staff is not somebody who is hogging the media, who is insisting it has to be in every picture. That's not how that role is. That role is this role that is almost like the strong man behind, who stays there and makes sure that everything that the president wants to get done, not some battle kind of thing. Look at his former special advisor on media, who is now being designated as a minister. Have you not been in this country since 1999? Where did you ever see Adesina, the guy that was there before, or even Abati? Where did you ever see them, the Buhari or their president or the ones that were Jonathan or even with Obasanjo, they're standing to take pictures, they're the ones doing like this. Sheung, I'm a Yoruba man. These guys are really embarrassing me. I expect them to tidy up their statecraft. I expect them to get their act together. I don't expect them to create some kind of battle. Everybody's just laissez-faire and all that. And when somebody did have this conversation with me before they were picked, I told him, I was telling the fellow that, look, if the president wanted my opinion, I would have given him 2 people that could have been his chief of staff who would do the job very well. And the guy asked me who. I said, do you want my opinion? I said, yes. I said, if they're not so angry with you, you can be a good chief of staff. And if they hate him so much, they can take Fashola. Those guys would have brought the kind of things you need to the table. What's Gbaja bringing? Former House of Rep. Has he ever been an executive? Has he ever been a governor? Has he ever been a minister? Can't you see what they're doing? So if you're not ashamed for them, I am ashamed for all of us. I hope they settle down quick. And I hope we can begin to see precisely what they want to do. And I hope for whatever is good for him, he takes himself out of a potential campaign that is going to pit the West and Russia close to our border. Nobody who knows what he's doing jumps into a battle that can easily touch your own soil. And please, please, before you start telling me about ECOWAS, the last time we were in ECOMOG, Nigeria paid most of the bill and Nigerian soldiers did most of the bleeding.
Segun Sowunmi, you give me a moment. Senator Ireti Kingibe is still with us on the program. But I just needed to hear Chief Segun Sowunmi just for a moment. But I need to go on a break. But when we come back, Senator Kingibe will be talking to us about the state of the nation and some of the issues that have come up on the floor of the Senate. We'll be right back after this break, everyone. Join us again. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us right here on the program. Chief Shagun Showumi, a member of the PDP, has been speaking with us on the program. Let me now switch to our second guest on the program, Senator Ireti Kingibe. He's the federal lawmaker representing the Federal Capital Territory in the Senate. It's good to see you, Senator. Thank you so much indeed for your time tonight. And let me begin by asking you, one of the persons, 45 persons were confirmed by yourself and your colleagues, 3 were not, and one of the persons is a woman. Can you give us an idea of the reasons, the real reasons why they were not confirmed?
Well, we were told that they did not, they were being cleared for security, their security clearance had not come through yet. So obviously without that, we had to wait. So we cleared the other people. We confirmed the other people. We had screened them all, but we didn't confirm.
How does this operate, though? I mean, were you privy, or are the senators privy to the security, the said security report on these persons?
No, we were not privy to it. We were just told.
Because I imagine it's supposed to be a communication.
They had not been.
Yeah, because I imagine that this security report will have emerged based on petitions sent to the National Assembly, and the Senate would have transmitted such communication to the relevant security agencies. I assume so. Am I right?
I assume that that's how it's done. You must remember that I'm a new senator, but if I recall, we didn't actually bring up any of the petitions on the floor of the Senate. We were told they would come up during the confirmation, but at confirmation, all the others had been cleared except the last 3 that we were told had not received security clearance, and therefore we had to wait. So we just confirmed those that had received because we were going on recess. Pending, if we get the go-ahead on the others, then maybe we will clear them.
Talking about recess now, have you gotten the prayers in your mailbox as promised by the Senate President?
No, actually, I haven't. I didn't receive any prayers, but I will check my email for the prayers. But that's it. No.
So you're not enjoying your recess because the Senate President has said the token will drop in your accounts so that you can enjoy your recess.
Truthfully, I don't know what he was talking about, but most people assume that maybe allowances may be paid, but they may be statutory things that would have been paid anyway. I don't think it was anything extra that we're supposed to be given.
I mean, coming from a Labour Party...
I certainly haven't seen anything extra yet.
Yeah, coming from a Labour Party, for example, and considering the situation of the country, the National Assembly has been heavily hit as one of the most, the senators and lawmakers in Nigeria, highest paid in the world. And those who said this is alarming, coming from a Labour Party, for example, do you feel alarmed also? There are some parts of the lifestyle, the cost to run the National Assembly that you feel uncomfortable with.
Yes, truthfully, that is so. But I know that I can't change anything. So I have a development office for which any things that are not necessary, I have a constituency office. I also have a development office where I do development programs for the people. And hopefully anything extra I put in, any allowances, obviously I'm new, we've been paid very little, but as they come in, a lot of it will go towards funding that office, the development programs.
But as it is right now, with the manner in which what Nigerians are facing, and I'm very certain that there are families who are watching now tonight, they're not confident of what they will eat. they are not certain of the kind of roof that will be above their heads tonight. And you look at even the measurement and the statistics coming out about the rate of poverty in our land. I mean, what comes to your mind when they talk about politicians, 109 of yourself, and it talks about the kind of vehicle that will help you do your job? Do you feel that it is morally right to get these kind of things? Although you said you cannot change things, but I mean, your party has spoken up about your principal, Mr. Peter Obi, had said, look, Nigeria, we cannot continue like this. Do you feel somehow that we cannot really continue like this? If you have your way, Senator, what would you change?
Truthfully, we cannot continue like this. I was hoping that the things would change with this election. It doesn't seem to have much, but we're all new. The president is new, so maybe he still has other things to do. Some of the things that I would do, for one thing, that I think would help, and this is my utopian view of Nigeria. You're telling me if I had my way what I would do, I can tell you some of the things I would do. I would insist that all government vehicles be bought. The vehicles must have been assembled in Nigeria. That will go a long way to improving productivity in Nigeria. For one thing, Innocent, perhaps Volkswagen and Peugeot, and maybe even Toyota might decide that it's worth their while to set up an assembly plant here. Certain things like tin tomatoes, a few local things should not be imported. Yes, we would have a short period of some kind of inconvenience, but those are the things that will bring down the dollar to naira and that will also help grow our economy. Those are some of the things that I would do. I personally ride a 1986 car. I'm not particular about vehicles. As long as it moves, it's fine with me. So I am not, but as you can see, whenever people talk about us Labour senators, there are only 8 of us. And in a democracy, the minority will have their say, but at the end of the day, the majority will have their way. We will make changes that we can make, but we're also new in the Senate. We're trying to find our feet. We're trying to get to know the run of the place. So they have to give us a little bit of time to see the impact that we can make as well. A few weeks is too early to judge us in the Senate.
You must be happy, isn't it, that there is, perhaps for the first time in a long time that I can remember, that an indigenous FCT person has been nominated as a minister. How does that come to you?
Well, I'm happy that FCT has a minister. We can start off with it being an indigenous person, but at the end of the day, lots of other people also still live in FCT, and there are also several indigenous tribes. But yes, I am thrilled at the fact that we have an FCT senator, an FCT minister. It's never been done, and as I said on the day he was being screened, we thank President Tinubu for doing that.
Describe to us tonight, Senator, the caliber of persons that were brought before you, the quality that we were promised in the manifesto and other campaign of the APC. Does that come to you? If you were a private person and you are in the private sector, would you regard those persons as employable if you have the capacity to interview them in such a fora?
Well, they must be employable because they have been employed in the past. But I do think that from their previous jobs, they've already given their best. And were I the president, I would have tried to bring in new people, fresh blood, new ideas, not recycling the same people. And that is they've done their best in whatever capacities they've worked. There were few people that were fresh and new, that's true. And I saw some of the nominees had great potential, but the bulk of them were mostly people who had been constantly recycled. And if I were a private person or I had a say, I would have suggested newer, fresher people.
So you are not as much impressed?
Truthfully, not really, no.
If you are not as much impressed by the name
But
forward,
it is the prerogative of the president to pick his
agree.
candidates.
Yeah, but you have your opinion as a lawmaker.
Federal Executive Council.
Yeah.
Yes, but we will have our opinions, and
you don't need to regret your statement over that. You can share your opinion, that's okay. But the question here is that if you're not so impressed about, because the expectations are this high for a lot of Nigerians based on the pedigree of the president and what he's done in the past, the capacity that a lot of people have talked about that he has shown in Lagos to be able to identify quality. Now, are you also impressed about the performance of you and your colleagues in the manner in which you went about the screening? And let me give you a little feedback. Those who believe that your work as senator were not thorough enough to scrutinize these persons. These are the people that will be taking over the affairs of our nation, the sensitive and the crucial aspect of our lives, as over 200 million people of this country.
We could have done more.
And those who believe that, some of you and your colleagues were under par in your
said on the floor of the Senate. The rule of the Senate is that if you've ever been a member of the House of Rep or a senator, then we don't screen you. You take a bow and leave. And there were a lot of them that were former senators and former House of Reps. So,
Senator, does that make sense? That you being a CEO of another company, now you're going to take over another company. So you just take a bow and take over the job. Is that how it works? You look at what it takes to be a lawmaker. It's just simple being a 30-year-old Nigerian, and you can be a lawmaker. You have an SSE certificate.
Sheung, I am one of the people who believe that taking a bow is wrong, and we should have been given the opportunity to have more in-depth questioning of them. But as you know, as I keep telling you, the majority will have their way. And at the end of the day, even asking questions, people think, I get emails from people say, you didn't complain, you didn't do this, you didn't say that. But the truth is you can only speak on the floor of the Senate when you are given permission to speak. So, or you can only ask questions, you can only say anything when you are given the floor to speak. So, yes, things could be different, but they were not.
Senator...
And I think that going forward... Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Yes, and I think that going forward, for one thing, I think that we should have had less ministers, not more, because I feel that the economy is not strong enough for a more expanded cabinet. I think it should have been a smaller one. But at the end of the day, I'm not the president. All these things are his prerogative. These things are our opinion. I know the economy is... We should be seen to be setting an example. We tell the people to sacrifice. We also need to make certain changes, and I think that needs to happen.
I mean, would you be making any commitment, Senator? And I'm holding you again, just like a lot of Nigerians. I mean, there is a very popular legal maxim which says, he who come to equity must come with clean hands. Your party has spoken so much about morality, justification of responsibility that have been imposed on those who are in public office. Would you, for example, considering the enormous resources plowed into governance in Nigeria, that those who are in public office should show example. For you, you are just a voice out of the 109. Would you be able to show an example, and in what way, that you are also tightening your belt and as a face of Labour Party in the parliament?
As I tightening my belt, I will tighten my belt. Starting forward, we've started off trying to get offices and things, but generally, I have my personal salary put in a separate account, which I'm going to be using for people of FCT. I do make a lot of personal sacrifices even before getting to the Senate. But as I said, I'm only one person. I'm looking forward to passing certain bills that make a lot of difference to the FCT. I'm also looking forward to, as chairman of Women's Affairs, making an impact on the lives of women. So by the time we come back, give us a few more months, maybe you will be able to see the difference between the Labour Party senators and other senators.
All right. We will love some examples. I mean, in the past, sometimes you just need to see just one or two acts that will stand out. And if that is the case, we will be looking forward to that. But there are some of your constituents who are saying that they did not see you today at the old parade ground at the commemoration of the World Indigenous Day. Is there any reason we are not able to be there?
Yes, Sharon, I fell down for the same reason that you're filming me from the house and not in the studio. Somebody had poured something on the floor of the corridors of the Senate, and I fell and twisted my ankle, and I'm in a brace and can barely walk. And that's why I was not seen there today.
All right. I hope those who are asking me that question have heard now. Thank you so much indeed, Senator, for coming tonight on the program, and I hope that your ankle heals early enough. Thank you. So that you can get on your research and get that mail in your, the mail that the Senate President promised. You can get it to enjoy yourself as much as you can. Thank you so much, Senator Ereti Kingibe, Senator representing the FCT.
Just one moment.
Yeah. Go ahead, please.
I wanted to add something.
Okay, go ahead.
And I'm not defending the Senate President, but in truth, one senator had brought a motion asking that as a Senate, we should tell the National Electricity Regulation Commission that they must not do the 40% increase because, and he was the one who first brought up the Nigerians have been inundated with a lot of things. They need to be allowed to breathe. So the Senate President just reiterated what he said by saying that Nigerians need to breathe. So in truth, he wasn't making fun of Nigerians. He was only just repeating what that senator said in asking that we must not allow the increase in electricity tariffs.
Oh, thank you so much.
Because,
yeah.
I mean, I know that we're doing a lot of things in a manner that they shouldn't be. And believe it or not, when I'm off camera, I'm extremely critical. But as they tell me, whenever I bring up something, Madam, you're opposition. That's true. But in this respect, truly, he was not making fun of the people. He was only repeating what the senator was asking for.
Ereti Kingibe, Senator representing the FCT and a member of the Labour Party. Thank you so much indeed. It's good to see you tonight, and I pray that your leg heals fast enough. Thank you so much indeed.
Thank you, Sheil.
Yes, ma'am. Let me get our closing moment with Mr. Segun Showumi. That those who will say, give Bola Tinubu some time. But do you think that he has the capacity to do well by Nigerians?
You know, I know him, and I know him well. I've always said to him privately, even before he became the president, that, look, I do not know the mess you will meet.
But you know, so you know him that deep?
I know him that deep.
Oh.
I do not know the mess you will meet, because you're not president before. But I have a belief that you're going to leave the place better than you met it. That's the charge. And therefore, for someone who has known him from as long as 1994, I have a duty to start calling out the alarm bells when I think he's going to end up, you know.
He's getting a lot of applause from abroad.
Listen to me, man.
The question
if you look at the entire sub-region, you look at Mali, you look at Niger, you look at Burkina Faso and all that, can't you see what's going on? I was in Washington last week at the invitation of the Congress, and one of the conversations we had there, and this is important, was they were saying a lot of things. They wanted to designate Nigeria a country of particular concern because of the body count from all of our crises. And when it was my turn to respond, I didn't go there trying to throw the country under the bus. I was very clear that democracy is beginning to shrink in Africa. And one of the reasons why democracy is shrinking in Africa is that capitalist democracy, PPP, this, is giving a lot of our people, leaving them behind. So we're creating a system where the vast majority of the people are expected to be applauding those who are in charge. And we need to reverse that and look at what's going on. So for Ashad Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President Tinubu, he doesn't want sympathy. He ordered for the job. He begged for it. He cried for it. He said, Emiloko, he even been entitled about it. No one is going to give him a slack on the job. He needs to go fix his house. He needs to get them to be more serious. He needs to look at the issues properly, and he needs to understand Nigeria is a multi-dimensional, multicultural country, and it's a young country. You can't keep bringing recycled people and telling us that's the best you can find. No, that's not the best.
Thank you so much, Segun Shawumi. I really appreciate it, and a lot of things. If you start to dissect the reasons why Nigerians cannot disappoint, and when anybody who leads Nigeria can also not disappoint its people, the list is so long. The world is in fact waiting for that giant to emerge from this country, and we cannot disappoint them and wish Nigeria the very best. And that's our beat tonight on this program. I'm Sean Wakimala. I'll see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. God bless Nigeria.